as being an immigrant myself, and I can see as an immigrant, I've benefited a great deal from living and working in this country. But at the same time, I believe I have contributed a lot into the local community as well as the British culture. Or as an immigrant myself, I can see and I have experienced the very positive benefit of having a multilingual, multicultural society. So I don't need any other external factors to influence me. I'm voting based on my own experience.
So can you tell us more specific about how the benefits are?
We are in Preston, and I work in the University of Central Lancashire, and the city itself and the university is a very multicultural place. Just take the university for an example. I worked in the languages department. I don't know the exact data, the statistics, but just a quick look around. Half of my colleagues, or more than half of my colleagues, are actually from other countries. We were not born and bred as British. We all came from different countries for different reasons. Some of us settled here because we came to study in this country. Some of us married a British person, a British husband or British wife, and we settled in here. And many of us also talk about the very enriching experience of bringing up our own children, speaking more than one language, and being literate in more than one culture. And the fact that as a languages department, we regularly send students to Europe. Many of the students went on the Erasmus program, and their feedback is very, very positive about their experience in European countries. We also send students to Korea, Japan, China, and the experience portrayed or described by our students, or returning students, are overwhelmingly positive. So I can see the benefit of being part of Europe and being part of this global society. So I think it's stupid to vote Brexit, and you can't reverse back. Once the world gone into this very globalized, multicultural way, and people know what it's like living in other countries, and being able to make that comparison. If you then want to reverse the clock and say, well, let's go back to a very isolated state of being, that's not possible. It doesn't make sense. They just look at the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland. So Northern Ireland being British, Ireland is a European country. If Brexit happens, are we going to put the border up again? So there are many complications.
Yeah, so I think you must vote again if it's take place again.
If it takes place again, I will still be voting Remain.
I think as someone coming from the immigration background and also working in the education sector, I definitely seeing UK should stay in the European Union. I'm a course leader of a program called Business Management in Chinese. We do receive sometimes more than half of the students from other EU countries, doing the degree here. They're doing really well, and I think their contribution to the class is also very valuable because it represents different views. And also I was always impressed by this kind of mobility of people working in the EU, and then really it's very easy for them to be educated here, to work here, and also for our students, graduates, they are working all over the world, including in many of the EU countries. I think it was great. I don't think it's the right decision for the UK to kind of isolate itself now, going back to what they think maybe the good old days. But the whole world is changing. What they were missing, maybe the good old days in the 70s, the world was a completely different place. Now we're in the 21st century, and it's very much globalized, very much integrated. I don't think it's the right direction going backwards.
To leave.
Okay, and why?
So that we're in charge of our own destiny, and so that if we don't like what the government do, we can vote them out, whereas we couldn't vote buses out before. So at least we're in control again. And also so we can trade with other countries like Australia, Canada, all the Commonwealth countries, USA, which to some extent we couldn't do before. It was before it was a closed shop.
So, did immigration influence on how you voted?
Immigration was not a big issue to me, no. The issue was that I did feel we needed to be in charge of immigration so we could let people in from all over the world, not just from Europe. Because at the moment we have so many people coming in from Europe that we can't take people from Australia, Canada, places we also should take people, Taiwan, anywhere. I'm not being racist at all, I'm saying we should be able to, it should be free to everybody, but the people we want to come here, rather than just they're entitled to because they're part of Europe.
Okay, if the EU referendum takes place again in 2017, which side will you vote in?
I would vote the same again.
And then 2016,
I was for Brexit.
to leave, right?
Yeah,
So why?
because I think it's better for us that if we do leave. I really do.
So did immigration influence on how you voted?
Immigration, not as such. I just the problems with immigration is, you know, like with ISIS and stuff like that. That was the main problem. That was the main issue.
Which side did I vote?
Yeah.
I voted to leave the EU
Oh, why? You say why?
because I find the EU's non-elected bureaucratic dictatorship, really, to be honest, who overrule democratic governments. You know, they've got more power than elected governments and no one knows who they are. You spend our money without any questions being asked, really, and yeah, but now, as it's going on, I'm quite concerned how it's being handled. It's clear the governments are not coping with the negotiations, and it's not going very well, to be honest. And started well, it's ending up badly. What can you do?
Did immigration influence on how you voted?
No, not at all. Not at all. All based on the EU and how they act and how they overrule courts, governments, that kind of thing. But it wasn't about immigration at all, really. It's good for Britain, immigration.